No marriage exists without conflict. Even the strongest bonds are tested by words spoken in anger and silence that cuts deeper than any blade. But what truly defines a man is not whether he fights, it's how he acts after the fight is over. When emotions fade and the noise quiets, you stand at a crossroads. React with pride or respond with wisdom. The moments after a fight reveal your true strength, not in dominance, but in your ability to control yourself, rebuild trust, and restore peace without losing dignity. Step 1. Keep calm and avoid reacting immediately. After a fight with your wife, your biggest enemy is not her anger. It's your own reaction. When emotions are burning hot, every word you say becomes a weapon that cuts deeper than you intend. Most men fall into the same trap. They try to win the argument, to make her understand that they are right. But in marriage, there are no winners in a fight, only two people who lose peace. The moment the argument ends, silence is your greatest strategy. Don't rush to talk, explain, or defend yourself. The more you speak under the control of emotion, the weaker your words sound. She won't hear logic when her heart is full of fire. At that point, anything you say will be filtered through her anger, and even your good intentions will be twisted into more reasons to resent you. Instead, master the art of stillness. Walk away if necessary. Take a walk. Breathe deeply. Wash your face. Look at yourself in the mirror. Observe your own anger as if it belongs to someone else. This distance gives you power. Power over yourself. A man who cannot control his emotions cannot lead a relationship. Remember this: silence is not weakness. It's restraint. It's control. It's what separates a boy from a man. When you stay silent, you're not surrendering. You're gathering strength. Let her see that you are calm, not cold. The calmness of a man often disarms a woman's emotional storm faster than any apology could. The first few hours after a fight are sacred. They decide whether your home becomes a battlefield or a place of healing. If you keep calm, the fire will eventually burn out on its own. If you pour more fuel, through words, accusations, or sarcasm, it will consume both of you. Your goal is not to prove who is right. Your goal is to preserve connection. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to do nothing, to wait until the storm passes. When she sees you not reacting, when she realizes you're not her enemy but her partner, she begins to soften. Control over emotions is the ultimate form of power. It's invisible, silent, and yet it commands respect. You must be the man who can stand in fire and remain unburned, who can take the heat of her emotions without losing his own center. So, when the argument ends, don't let your ego speak. Let your composure speak instead. Calmness is not the absence of feeling. It's the dominance of reason. And when reason rules, love survives. Step 2. Reflect on yourself and understand the root of the conflict. After the fire has cooled and the silence sets in, most men make the same fatal mistake. They keep analyzing her. They replay her tone, her words, her behavior. They look for where she went wrong. But a man who constantly dissects his wife's emotions is like a soldier who blames the weather for his defeat. He learns nothing, and he repeats the same mistake again. The true battlefield is not between you and her. It is inside you, between your ego and your awareness. After every argument, your job is not to fix her, but to study your own reaction. Ask yourself with brutal honesty, what exactly made me angry? Was it truly what she said, or the way my pride felt cornered? Most conflicts are not about right or wrong. They are about emotional control, who loses it first and who stays centered. You may think you got angry because she disrespected you, but look deeper. Did she truly disrespect you, or did she simply hit a wound that was already there? Maybe a part of you needed validation or feared rejection. When that hidden insecurity is exposed, the ego strikes back, not because it's right, but because it feels threatened. A wise man knows this and doesn't react from pain. He observes it like a scientist watches a fire, studying its pattern, not becoming it. Reflection is not self-pity, it's power. It's the act of reclaiming control over the one thing you can truly command, yourself. The average man tries to win every argument. The superior man tries to understand why he argued at all. Because once you understand that, you begin to see the invisible strings that pull your emotions, and when you see them, you can cut them. Take responsibility not for her emotions, but for your own energy. Ask, did I raise my voice because I wanted to be heard, or because I was afraid of being ignored? Did I withdraw because I needed peace, or because I wanted to punish her? These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of awareness. The man who can question himself gains authority over his mind, and authority over the mind is the foundation of masculine strength. Every argument in marriage is a mirror. It reflects something within you that still seeks validation, control, or dominance. When you can look into that mirror without flinching, you stop being a boy reacting to emotion and become a man mastering it. This is why self-reflection is not about guilt, it's about sovereignty. The truth is simple. She doesn't need a perfect man. She needs a grounded one. And grounding begins with self-awareness. When you can see your flaws clearly without defending them, your presence becomes stable, magnetic, unshakable. You no longer fight for dominance. You radiate calm authority. Remember, your wife's emotions will often mirror your own. If you project chaos, she will reflect it tenfold. But if you project composure, her storm will begin to calm. A man who can understand himself creates peace without demanding it. Because emotional mastery is not about controlling her. It's about never letting her emotions control you. Step 3. Take the initiative to reconcile through small but sincere actions. After a fight, most men fall into one of two traps. Either they withdraw completely and wait for their wife to make the first move, or they rush in desperately, apologizing just to end the tension. Both are mistakes. The first breeds distance. The second breeds weakness. The wise man chooses a third path. Silent, deliberate, and powerful. Reconciliation through presence, not persuasion. When emotions settle, she doesn't need your debate. She needs your steadiness. Women don't remember every word you said during the argument. They remember how your energy made them feel, whether safe, loved, or threatened. The masculine energy restores peace not by words, but by calm action. It is your demeanor, your tone, your silence that begins to heal the fracture. A small gesture done with calm conviction can say more than 100 explanations. Make her tea without saying a word. Sit beside her, not to argue, but simply to be near. Touch her hand softly when the time feels right. Such actions carry a silent message. I am here. I choose peace, not pride. This is not submission. It's leadership. You are leading the emotional tone of the relationship by showing strength through composure. The point is not to prove who's right. It's to reestablish connection. When you lower your voice, when you slow your movements, when you radiate calm, you reprogram the emotional field between you. She feels it, and in that energy, her defenses begin to melt. No woman stays angry at a man who stands in quiet strength and refuses to fuel the chaos. However, sincerity is the key. You cannot fake calmness. Women sense emotional falseness instantly. True reconciliation only happens when your actions come from genuine understanding, not manipulation. You are not trying to make her forgive you. You are trying to make her feel safe again in your presence. That's the difference between a boy seeking comfort and a man restoring harmony. Sometimes it's as simple as saying nothing, but doing something small. Clean the kitchen, light a candle, write her a short note, not to explain, but to remind her that the bond matters more than the fight. These are quiet signals of stability, and women respond to stability the way flowers respond to sunlight. Remember this truth. In love, power doesn't lie in control. It lies in emotional leadership. When you take the first step toward peace without losing your dignity, you show her that love doesn't need to beg. It chooses. The man who leads with quiet action teaches his wife that she is safe to soften, because his strength does not depend on her reaction. Reconciliation is not an act of surrender. It is an act of command. The command over your pride, your anger, and your impulse to win. The man who can love without losing his self-respect becomes unshakable. And from that unshakable presence, harmony returns. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. Step 4. Communicate calmly and respectfully. When the silence has done its work and the storm inside is calmed, the next step is not to talk it out like most men think. It's to communicate with precision and presence. The goal is not to win the argument, but to rebuild connection without losing authority. Words are tools, sharp, dangerous, and powerful. A wise man knows when to use them and when to hold them back. When you speak again, your tone matters more than your words. If your energy is still defensive, she will feel it. You cannot fake peace. It must come from real composure. Begin slowly. Maintain eye contact without aggression. Lower your voice. Speak with pauses. A calm tone disarms the emotional tension far more effectively than logic ever could. Women don't respond to reasoning when they feel unsafe. They respond to emotional grounding. Start by expressing understanding, not accusation. Say, "I understand why you felt hurt," instead of, "You overreacted." A small shift in words can change the entire emotional climate. You are not surrendering your position. You are leading the dialogue. When a man listens fully, without interrupting or correcting, he displays mastery. Most men listen to defend. Few listen to understand. Be one of the few. During the conversation, watch her emotions, not just her words. Behind anger, there is pain. Behind withdrawal, there is fear. Read her silence, her eyes, her breathing. Respond not with explanations, but with calm acknowledgement. "I hear you. I didn't realize it made you feel that way." These simple phrases dissolve more distance than any justification ever will. The key is emotional containment. Staying grounded while she releases what she's been holding in. If you take her words personally, you lose the power dynamic. But if you remain still, she feels safe enough to release the tension. Your stability becomes the container for her chaos. And paradoxically, that is what makes her trust you again. Avoid rehashing who was right or wrong. The argument has already spent its energy. What matters now is rebuilding trust. Use the conversation not to analyze the past, but to align for the future. How can we handle things differently next time? Leadership in a relationship means guiding both of you back to balance. Remember, respect in communication doesn't mean passivity. It means you control your tone, your timing, and your truth. Speak less, but every word should carry intention. A man who masters his voice masters his environment. His calm becomes contagious. His steadiness becomes her peace. In the end, reconciliation through communication is not about saying the right thing. It's about being the right energy. When she feels your sincerity, your restraint, and your strength behind the softness of your words, she will follow that energy, because no woman truly resists a man who can be both firm and gentle, a man whose words heal instead of wound. Step 5. Show understanding and be willing to forgive. Forgiveness is not a weakness. It is the highest form of strength, because it requires mastery over ego. After a fight, when emotions fade and silence settles, many men still carry invisible armor, resentment. They may act calm, but inside, they're keeping score. That is not peace. That is pride, wearing the mask of control. A man who cannot forgive remains chained to the past he claims to have left behind. To forgive does not mean to forget or to excuse her behavior. It means to release yourself from the emotional grip of the argument. The moment you forgive, you reclaim your energy. You stop feeding the fire that no longer deserves fuel. The one who forgives first becomes free first. But this freedom must come from strength, not from submission. Weak forgiveness seeks approval. Strong forgiveness reestablishes authority. To show understanding, you must first step outside your own pain. See the woman, not the moment. Often, her anger is not about what happened today. It's a buildup of things she didn't know how to express. Behind the harsh words, there is fatigue, insecurity, or a silent plea for connection. The mature man sees this without judgment. He doesn't take her emotions personally. He reads them as data. This is emotional intelligence at its peak, the ability to interpret chaos without absorbing it. When you tell her, "I understand why you felt that way," you are not just speaking words. You are offering safety. You are showing her that your love is strong enough to hold tension without breaking. This doesn't mean she was right. It means you choose peace over punishment, and that choice elevates you from a man ruled by pride to a man guided by purpose. Forgiveness is also a test of inner sovereignty. Can you let go of what bruised your ego without needing an apology? Can you maintain affection without demanding validation? When you can do that, you no longer love conditionally. You love consciously. You're not reacting to her mood. You're responding from your principles. That's what separates a boy in love from a man in mastery. When you forgive, do it quietly, not with dramatic speeches or forced smiles. Just a calm presence that says, "It's done. I'm here." Women feel that energy deeply. It tells her she's safe again, that the emotional storm has passed, and she will soften in ways that words could never achieve. Remember this truth. A man who forgives from strength gains respect. A man who forgives from weakness loses it. Forgiveness is not about her deserving it. It's about you refusing to carry poison. The more you hold on to anger, the more you lose your power. Letting go is not surrender. It's self-command. And when you can forgive while still standing tall, with calm eyes and an open heart, you embody the rarest form of masculine power. The power to destroy, but choosing instead to heal. That is the kind of strength a woman never forgets. Step 6. Learn from the conflict and strengthen the bond. A fight, when handled with awareness, is not a sign of failure. It is a mirror showing what still needs to evolve. Most men see arguments as threats to peace. The wiser man sees them as information. Every conflict reveals something, a boundary crossed, a need ignored, or an emotion misunderstood. If you study it instead of reacting to it, the fight becomes the lesson that prevents the next one. After reconciliation, take a moment of reflection, not as punishment, but as calibration. Ask yourself, what did this argument teach me about her? About myself? About us? Did I notice a pattern? The same topic? The same trigger? The same emotion rising again and again? If yes, that is not coincidence. It is a signal. Marriage, at its core, is a feedback loop between two minds learning to coexist. The man who listens to that feedback grows stronger. The one who ignores it repeats the same pain under a new excuse. Discuss the conflict once calm returns. Not emotionally, but strategically. Instead of, "You always do this," say, "When this happens, I feel distant. How can we handle it differently next time?" These conversations are not about blame, but alignment. You are not dissecting the past. You are designing the future. This is how emotional leaders operate. They don't dwell on the wound. They build the immunity. Use the post-conflict phase to reinforce connection. After the storm, there's a strange tenderness, a quiet desire to rebuild, to feel safe again. Don't waste that moment. A soft gesture, a sincere embrace, a shared silence. These are not trivial acts. They are the threads that reweave trust. When you meet her warmth with calm strength, the relationship doesn't just recover, it transforms. The purpose of every fight is evolution. Each disagreement is a test of your ability to remain centered, to lead with calm, to transform chaos into understanding. The couples who grow stronger after conflict are not the ones who never fight. They are the ones who learn how to fight better. Set soft rules for the future. Not rigid promises, but mindful principles. Agree that when tempers rise, one of you can call a pause, or that you'll never let a night end in silence. These small agreements become emotional architecture, invisible but strong. They don't eliminate storms. They make you weatherproof. In the end, what defines a powerful man is not how he avoids conflict, but how he emerges from it, wiser, quieter, more anchored. He doesn't see arguments as cracks in love, but as opportunities to deepen it. Because every time you survive the storm with awareness, love stops being fragile and becomes unbreakable. Peace after conflict isn't something that happens by luck. It's something a man creates through awareness, control, and quiet strength. Every storm between you and your wife can either weaken or deepen your connection, depending on how you respond. The real victory is not in proving who's right, but in mastering yourself enough to protect what truly matters: love, trust, and respect. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me how you handle conflict, what lessons you've learned, or what kind of strength it has built within you. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more insights about relationships, masculinity, and emotional mastery.